8-5. We're in the bottom of the sixth. The Bulls are up 3, and Todd Turner at the plate. Behind in the count 1-2. Turner, number 7 man in the Bulls order. 0 for 1 with a walk. There's Mike Vick, the starter. He's gone all the way for Louisville so far. Outside, 2-2.
Vick looks like he's really found his rhythm. He's beginning to hit corners a little bit better. Doesn't look like he's overthrowing as much as he did early in the game. And beginning also to change speeds.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Bouncing ball foul down the right field line. Chris, you were talking about that Metro Conference schedule, how it differs. Different amount of teams than the old Sun Belt Conference, and the Bulls have to make some adjustments.
Well, you know that with only 7 teams playing, the top team at the end of the year will get the first round bye in the Metro Conference tournament.
Pop fly by Turner. Shallow left field. And an easy play for Barnes, 1 down.
And as Eddie Cardieri explained before the game, that's very important, not only because you get a bye, but because usually most teams will pitch their best pitcher in the first game, so that by the time the number 1 team in the league plays a game, they'll be facing the number 2 pitcher on each staff, and it makes the job a little bit easier to get through that tough conference tournament.
Speaking of the Metro Conference, another game in action, first of a doubleheader. Virginia Tech leading Tulane 12-2. There's J.R. Sparr's second hit of the game as he grounds one in the hole between short and third. J.R. is making a play for more playing time.
Well, he's only came into the ball game today with only 15 at bats. He's gotten 2 hits so far today, and J.R. He is making himself a bid to be an everyday player. There you see, he picks on that low pitch, finds himself a seeing eye base hit right in the hole. Shortstop Jimmy Allen can't get to it, and J.R. is on base.
Here's the first pitch to Brett King, and that's bounced foul down the third baseline. Interesting to note, Chris, these are 2 pretty well-pitched games, especially on the part of Mark Reed, but neither pitcher has a strikeout so far. Hasn't been a single one in the game.
Well, it just shows that there's a couple of ball clubs that like to swing the bats.
There's the throw back to first and Spar in standing up.
We've spoken many times before about how aggressive USF is, that they don't sit around and wait for walks, and of course with the batting average the way the Louisville Cardinals bring in here, 350 as a team, you know they don't sit around looking for walks either.
Well, that's a nice job by King. Going to be tough for Kopriva. Not in time. Infield hit. So Brett King rolls the bunt down the third baseline. The Bulls have 2 men on with 1 out.
King really brings himself an extra asset to the plate. When he can lay down a bunt like this with his good speed, this is a base hit all the way. Kopriva should stick that ball in his pocket. Fortunately for him, he doesn't throw the ball away at first base. But the Bulls have something going now with men at first and second.
So stepping in for the Bulls now, the top of the order, and Tim Merrick, and he's had a great ball game. A triple, a single, and a walk. He really jolted one to the wall last time. Johnson keeps it in front of him, but still Spar is going to be able to get to third, and the Bulls have runners on the corners. See some of the speed of J.R. Spar as Johnson did a nice job blocking that ball, keeping it in front of him, but it rolled far enough away that Spar was able to advance.
Now, King did not advance from first to second on that. He had to make sure first that Spar was going to go to third. Did not want to get caught out and hung dry. So King now with a base open at second base. Look for him to try to take that stolen base.
Spar bluffs off third. There goes the runner to second. This one is in the dirt, and Spar's going to come in to score. Allen, the shortstop, alertly backing up, but the ball kicked away from him as well, and the Bulls' speed helps them with their 4th run of the game. The stolen base by Brett King, now at second.
Well, King will take off. Merrick will fake bunt. King will go in here, try to get the stolen base, which he does. The throw from Jay Johnson short hops the second baseman. It'll kick away from Jimmy Allen, and J.R. Spar will come in with the 4th Bulls run.
So it's 4-0 South Florida, and Merrick remains at the plate ahead in the count 2-0. Swings and foul tips at 2-1.
Merrick has to feel pretty good about himself today. Now 2 for 2 on the day. Coming into this game 0 for 12 in his last 12 appearances.
Has scored a run. There's the runner at second, King. And Merrick now ahead 3-1.
Eddie Cardieri putting some speed both at the top and the bottom of his lineup. Brett King with his 11th stolen base on the year to just in 13 attempts.
And Merrick ahead in the count, 3-1. On the outside corner, a tough pitch from Vick, and the count goes full.
Jason Hobbs, a right-hander, now warming up in the Louisville Cardinal bullpen.
There's Jason. That's the first activity all day long in either bullpen. Merrick looks at ball 4. He's a base runner for the 4th consecutive time. And the Bulls with an opportunity for a big inning here. 1 across, 2 men on, and 1 out. Now you have to wonder about all those pitches Mike Vick has thrown and wonder how much gas is left in the tank. There are the runners. King at second, Merrick at first. 1 out. And Jason Garcia steps to the plate. Bottom of the 6th inning, Bulls leading 4-0. And looking for more against the Cardinals. There go the runners. Johnson will try third, not in time. The Bulls come up with a double steal. King to third and Merrick to second as the Bulls knock out 2 stolen bases on 1 play.
Eddie Cardieri trying to manufacture a run right here. Actually, King didn't get a great jump to third base, but there you saw the catcher, Jay Johnson, bobbled a little bit. And by the time he was able to make the throw, there you see Eddie Cardieri. All hands are safe, and Eddie trying to do a little workmanship of his own here.
That's Eddie Cardieri baseball, stealing bases. The team has been able to do that consistently throughout the last few years. 1-0 is the count on Garcia. And down low, 2-0.
Could be that Mike Vick is getting a little bit tired. He's thrown about 97 pitches so far, which is quite a few, considering that we're only in the 6th inning.
Louisville infield is in at all positions now with 1 out and runners on second and third. 2-0 pitch is outside, and Vick now just 1 pitch away from loading the bases up for Doug Carroll. Bulls have scored 1 in the inning. J.R. Spard led it off with a single and came around. King singled. He's now on third. Merrick walked. He's now on second. Here's the 3-0 to Jason Garcia. That's up high, and the bases are loaded. So Garcia on for the first time, and it looks like Louisville may be looking toward the bullpen there, as Mike Vick has wilted a bit here in the 6th inning. Saw the head coach, Gene Baker, look down to the bullpen a moment ago and see if Hobbs was ready or not.
They're looking for that familiar wave of the cap. The freshman still getting it loose.
Infield in at the corners, back in the middle infield now. And there's a called strike to Doug Carroll. Carroll has a chance to break it open here. South Florida leading by 4, bases loaded, 1 out. Here's the 0-1 from Vick. Down low and the count evens, and once again the big guy on deck, Wade Norris. For 8-0 for South Florida, 0-3-2 for Louisville. One pitch to the shortstop Allen for the force at second, and they just got it. Another run scores. The Bulls lead 5-0 as King crosses the plate. That ball not hit as hard as it appeared, and Allen just barely got that force out at second base.
Number 13, Wade Norris.
This ball jams Doug Carroll right in on the fist. There you see the runner at second base, Merrick. He'll jump over the ball. This ball not hit very hard. The shortstop Allen flips over to Vogt, and that is bang, bang at second base. Mike Kiernan makes the call, and I'm telling you what, it was a lot closer than I think even Kiernan thought it would be.
So runners on the corners with 2 outs for the Bulls. Merrick on third, Carroll on first, and here's Wade Norris taking low, ball 1. Bulls with 2 here in the bottom of the 6th to take a 5-0 lead. There's Merrick on third base, and Carroll safe on the fielder's choice at first. Wade Norris 0 for 3 in the game, reached on an error his last time up. And Vick working very carefully, falls behind now 2-0.
hopefully Vic's last man if he loses Wade Norris right here.
Norris looking for his pitch, ahead 2-0. Fouls it out of play, 2-1.
Norris looks to be just a little bit out of sync today. He had a pitch in the first inning with the bases loaded that he jammed himself on and popped up to the shortstop.
It's ironic, he goes through so many games not seeing good pitches to hit. This game he's had some opportunities, and for one of the very few times this year he hasn't been able to drive the ball yet. 2-1 pitch, bounced foul down the third baseline, and the count evens at 2-2. Wade Norris is a senior, outstanding power hitter, pretty good first baseman also. Had some shoulder problems earlier in the year, had to play a couple of games at designated hitter, but is back in the field now.
I'll tell you what, Wade Norris has opened the eyes of a number of scouts. Of course, the South Florida Bulls heavily scouted because they've got so many good prospects and play such a good schedule. Norris really has opened some eyes this year.
Here's the 2-2 pitch from Mike Vick. Out of the strike zone, 3-2. Blake Byers is on deck for the Bulls. 2 outs, runners on the corner. Bulls have 2 runs in this inning, leading 5-0. There's Blake Byers waiting his turn. The count full on the Bulls cleanup hitter. Got him on a fastball. So Mike Vick gets Wade Norris to get out of the inning, but still a very good inning for the Bulls as they come up with 2 runs. And we've now completed 6 innings of play. South Florida 5, Louisville nothing.
My hero? Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Costner, Mr. Wall.
These are teachers. To the kids they've reached, they're heroes.
My hero? Mrs. Wooten. If I don't get through to that child, who knows, maybe no one else will.
Teachers have the power to wake up your minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. Find out how by calling 1-800-45-TEACH. Be a teacher. Be a hero.
All right, let's review last night's assignment. The proper usage of the word to. Mr. Mullins. 2 dogs ain't my homework. See me after class. Mr. Hill, the proper usage of the word to. Too many students don't listen to the teacher. Anybody else have an answer? Keisha.
If you're too legit to quit, stay in school.
Proper.
They got a shot at the playoffs this year. The Heat is on Sports Channel coming up on Tuesday the 31st at 7:30. It's the Heat and the Cavaliers. Wednesday, April 1st, Miami versus the 76ers. And on Friday, the Cavs and the Heat, only on Sports Channel, home of the Miami Heat. Check local listings for availability in your area. The Bulls giving Mark Reed a little more cushion in the bottom of the 6th, out to a 5-run lead now as he begins his 7th inning of work. And leading off is Glenn Myers, the designated hitter for Louisville. And Reed gets behind 2-0. Chris, we talked at length about the Bulls' difficulty in leaving men on base. You look at the score and you think maybe they've gotten over that, but they've still left a lot of guys on today.
They sure have. They've left on at least 1 runner in every inning so far, a total of 8 thus far in the ball game. I think it's probably a matter of the Bulls getting a lot of men on base in the first place, but it's also to the point that they're just not driving in those key runs with some key hits like they have earlier in the year when they won big games.
3-0 the count now, and Reed gets the automatic 3-1. I guess that's one way to look at it too, is that at least they're getting men on base consistently, and that's something for Eddie Cartieri to be pleased about.
Well, Cartieri is the manufacturing run kind of a manager. He likes to hit and run, likes to have guys steal.
3-1 pitch is a rocket into right field, base hit by Glenn Myers. Just the 4th hit surrendered by Mark Reed. And coincidentally, he was behind in the count 3-1, and he's done that very rarely today.
I'll tell you what, when Mark Reed gets behind in the count and has to come down the middle with a fastball, you're going to see a base hit. Here you're going to see just a swing of Glenn Myers. Boom! He is all over that Reed fastball. You're lucky no one got hurt out there.
Here comes Dan Capriva. had an infield hit his last time out as he beat out a ground ball to shortstop. Going the opposite way, and that's going to be a tough ball for Doug Carroll to corral. On the run, he won't get there. It's off the wall, and Louisville will have 2 men on. They're going to hold up the runners at second and third as Capriva shows some of that opposite field power. Well, we talked about Dan Capriva and the power he has. Let's take a look.
Well, boy, Capriva's making a believer out of me. He picks a high outside fastball, almost tomahawks this ball, and it just keeps going and going and going right up against the base of the 340 sign. It's at least a double all the way, and Capriva really packs a punch in that swing.
That ball just kept going. It looked like Doug Carroll's feelings were that he could get up to that ball when he started running, but he just kept going back and chasing that ball. Breaking ball over for strike one to Darren Opel, the first baseman. This is the most serious trouble of the game for Mark Reed. Runners on second and third with nobody out. We're in the seventh, and South Florida leading 5-0. But Reed in a jam here. Up high with that one, 1-1.
Reed has been hurt this inning on both his pitches that he got up in the strike zone. Capriva picked one out off of his eyebrows. Myers got one about waist high.
1-1 pitch. Fly ball into the outfield, might get the first run home. Carroll with the catch. And they'll cut off the throw as the run scores on the sacrifice fly. Glenn Myers plates the first Louisville run. It's 5-1. Capriva holds at second base.
I think Mark Reed got away with one right there. Looks like he hung that fastball up, or that breaking ball right up in Darren Opel's wheelhouse. We're going to take another look at it right here. It's a curveball, was right there. Opel takes a good swing at it. Just got under it a little bit, but it's far enough for a sacrifice fly, and the Cardinals are trying to climb back into this one.
That one was kind of the opposite of Capriva's. That one looked a lot better coming off the bat. Didn't do much once it got out there.
It sure did.
They're going to have a conference at the mound as pitching coach Mike Trapasso comes out. There you see the Louisville bench as Darren Opel getting the first RBI for the Cardinals, and now Trapasso, Byers, and Reed converse on the mound.
I think Trapasso probably making the same observations we are from up in the booth, that Reed all of a sudden is getting his pitches up in the strike zone. His fastball is staying up, his breaking ball not breaking the way it did earlier in the game, and it really can't be from fatigue out there. 55 pitches coming into the inning for Mark Reed, so he's been very stingy so far with the number of pitches that he's thrown. But Trapasso out there just to give him a reminder that be aggressive, stay ahead, and see if he can't get out of this inning with any more damage.
A single, a double, and a sacrifice fly getting Louisville on the scoreboard, and they have a runner at second with one out now for Rob Newman, the right fielder. Newman 0 for 2 in the game so far. And he sends one fairly deep to center, but Merrick has room, now comes in for the catch, and there's 2 down. So after a shaky start in the inning, Mark Reed now has retired the last 2, and he'll try to get out of the inning by facing Charlie Ellen. Rob Newman goes back to the dugout 0 for 3. You can tell by looking at Mark Reed when he gets determined. He has that look in his face. Here's Allen, 1 for 2 so far. Reed doesn't like to give up runs. Down low, 1-0.
Byers thinks he had that pitch for a strike. He may think that he came up a little bit too soon. That ball somehow had to cross the plate, according to Blake Byers' reaction to home base umpire Chuck Crandall.
The 1-0 from Reed. Down low again, 2-0. USF pitching staff really likes having Byers behind the plate. They like the game he calls. They like the defensive talents he has.
Byers has come a long way since last year defensively. Much better catcher this year.
Outside 3-0, and again Reed falling behind, which has not happened to him prior to this 7th inning. Ideally, the Bulls would like him to get a little further. They've got Danny Montero, the closer, to use later in the game, but they'd like to have Reed go a little further. That one's outside for ball 4, and now 2 men on with 2 out. Charlie Allen gets the walk, and Mark Reed having to be careful. careful again now with 2 base runners. At second base is Glenn Myers. At first base, Charlie Allen. Tommy Barnes steps up now, grounded out into a double play his last time up. He's 0 for 2. And this is a big at-bat for Louisville as Reed trying to get out of the 7th inning. And he starts off with a strike, 0-1.
Not only a big at-bat for Louisville, but also a big at-bat for Mark Reed. Looks like we have some activity down in the Bulls bullpen. I can't tell from our vantage point who's warming up, but we've got, it looks like, a couple of guys throwing down there.
Here's the 0-1 from Reed, and that's outside, 1-1. I almost wonder if it's psychological when you get into the 6th or 7th inning and you think you should be getting tired, even though he hasn't pitched many pitches. When you get up to that part of the game, maybe you start thinking about it a little bit.
Well, you wonder if you're not doing it with mirrors, but Reed is doing it with good stuff. And you just have to keep his confidence that when he throws the ball in there, he'll get outs.
Now behind 2-1 to Tommy Barnes.
Can't be a slouch with Tommy Barnes up there. He's batting .337. He had an 8-game hitting streak broken last night.
In fact, Louisville had homered in 13 consecutive games until last night. So the Bulls have done a great job keeping the ball in the park. That's going to be a line drive base hit up the middle. It will score 1, and runners will hold on second and first as Merrick's throw comes in not in time, and Louisville closes to 5-2. Dan Capriva scores the run for the Cardinals. Tommy Barnes with a line drive base hit, and Louisville cutting into the deficit a little bit here in the 7th.
This ball almost takes Mark Reed's hat off. There you see him duck. He's not even quick enough to get his glove up. You're going to see the base runner Capriva run around third base and score. The throw not in time from Timmy Merrick. And the Cardinals keep it alive.
Jimmy Allen, the shortstop now, is 0 for 2. And he takes the first one up high, 1-0. Such a difference for Mark Reed when he gets behind as he has in this 7th inning. The first 6 innings, he was virtually every batter ahead in the count, and he was almost untouchable.
You're absolutely right, Jim. Good observation.
Line drive down the line, and that is a foul ball. Anello couldn't corral it in third base, but it's just foul.
You know, you can see Reed getting that ball up in the strike zone there. That ball that Jimmy Allen tried to pick on way up around his letters. Reed is most effective when he keeps his breaking ball downstairs.
5-2 South Florida. Louisville has scored 2 here in the 7th. They have 2 on with 2 out. On the outside corner to Allen as he takes a look back at the umpire. 1-2 the count. That was a big pitch by Reed.
Like home plate umpire Chuck Crandall may have given Reed a pitch that time. Nonetheless, the count now 1-2.
Line drive, base hit left field. Spar races in, and they'll hold the runners with the bases loaded. So another line drive base hit, this time by Jimmy Allen, and the bases are full with 2 down. So the Cardinals with 3 on now. Allen at third, Barnes at second, and there's Allen at first after his line drive hit. And Mark Reed trying to get out of this inning.
Little conference out there. Blake Byers out to talk to Mark Reed. This is a very similar type of inning here against Louisville that happened in Mark Reed's last start against University of Massachusetts. Started out very innocently, but with just a base hit, but all of a sudden Massachusetts slapped the 7th spot on him. Here the Cardinals have a golden opportunity to get right back in this ballgame.
7 hits off Reed, 4 in this inning. Jay Johnson, the catcher, and number 9 hitter stands in, and he sends a fly ball fairly deep, but Spar's going to get under it, and Reed gets out of the inning. So the Cardinals score 2, but they leave the bases loaded, and the Bulls hang on to their lead. We're going to the bottom of the 7th, and South Florida leads by 3.
Larry Bird was born to be a champion. He was destined for glory in the game he loved. Call this toll-free number now and get bird watching at its best in this amazing video, Larry Bird, a basketball legend. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated, the best way to capture all the drama of sports. Through rare footage, you'll follow Larry from the basketball courts of Indiana to the hallowed halls of the Boston Garden. Be there when the championships are won. Share the glory, live the moments. Be there for the hard-fought and emotional duels with Larry's longtime friend and rival, Magic Johnson. Call now to subscribe or renew. Get your free video and 54 issues of SI, including the swimsuit issue, for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Don't miss this heartwarming tale of a boy who lived his dreams. It's the story of a legend. The legend lives in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
Got a lot more baseball for you coming up. South Florida baseball's a hit on Sports Channel. We'll be with you tomorrow evening at 10:30 as the Bulls and Cardinals face each other again. Saturday the 11th, Virginia Tech versus USF. Sunday the 12th, same two teams go at each other right here on Sports Channel, home of the Bulls. Check local listings for availability in your area. Well, Louisville going to the bullpen for Jason Hobbs. He is a freshman from Brandenburg, Kentucky. And he has pitched quite effectively so far this year. 2-0, 2.04 ERA. Hobbs coming in after 6 innings of work from the starter, Mike Vick, who allowed 5 runs on 8 hits.
Hobbs leads the Cardinal staff in ERA with a nifty 2.04. He's pitched 17 innings, given up